Wright. Up all day and all night, pushing all the buttons up to something till it's alright. He looking at it from all sides and angles. Got a stripes on his body like he played for the Bengals.
Thank you guys for joining us on another episode of State of the Jungle Live from the First Star Logistics studio here in Cincinnati, Ohio. I'm your host, Malik Wright, joined by my main man, Logan. Before we get into it, as always, make sure you guys leave a like on this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, we love coming at you guys each and every single Wednesday. This is a show for the people and by the people, where we like to answer all your questions. And as I always say, bring your questions, bring your comments, and bring your popcorn. Apologize for the late start. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are all squared away. Excited for a jam-packed show. Logan, it's good to be back with you, brother.
Absolutely. We got a pretty awesome game ahead of us this week. Had a pretty kind of fun, got a little nerve-wracking game last week. Just kind of excited to get into it a little bit today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to start it off with the first topic, which is, are the Bengals Super Bowl bound, right? In my opinion, the Bengals are Super Bowl bound. I fully expect the Bengals to be in the Super Bowl this year. Now, I have my reasons as to why I have them, being in the Super Bowl. And some of those reasons people might disagree with. Some of those reasons people might feel a certain way about. Before I get into those reasons, Logan, what are your thoughts on it? Are the Bengals Super Bowl bound in your eyes, or do you think there's some concerns that you have?
I don't really have too many concerns with this team specifically. I think they have everything you could ask for when it comes to having a Super Bowl roster. Yeah, they're a little banged up, but who isn't at this time of the year? Obviously, we'll have to see how they respond to La'el Collins news, Kima Dinenjai. We'll get into that a little bit. They got everything they need. They really do. They were there last year. They've upgraded. Their offense has become more sustainable. Everybody's kind of taken a step forward. They have everything they need, but just getting to a Super Bowl is hard. I know, we got it there last year with, like I said, much worse team, but getting to the Super Bowl is hard. I'm not gonna just say they're guaranteed to go back to the Super Bowl, but I think they should be the favorites to come out of the AFC at this point. And I think after this week, is going to have to be common knowledge. I mean, you beat the Chiefs, if you go in here and beat the Bills, who are the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl for whatever reason. We kind of talked about a couple weeks ago, they've had every opportunity to prove they are the best team in the AFC. And this is the last little stepping stone they have before the playoffs. And I'm very excited for the game. They match up pretty well. It's going to be a fun one too. Like I said, it's the Bills. It's the last team we haven't really faced that kind of sits on the upper echelon of the NFL, and I'm just really excited to see how the game plays out.
I have something to admit. Last year when the Bengals were going through their entire stretch, I was actually praying that we had to go through Buffalo. Not actually but I was hoping and praying that we played the Buffalo Bills, because I always knew that this stigma was going to be out there. I always knew people were going to say, you know what? The Bengals did this, the Bengals did that, but they didn't beat the Buffalo Bills. And I'm telling you, I wanted that smoke so bad with the Buffalo Bills. You know what I mean? I wanted it so bad for the Bengals. And I know the Bengals probably wanted that smoke. Yeah. They probably didn't want to go up to Buffalo. But the fact of the matter is, it's like that old Ric Flair saying, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Now, the Bills are not the men, and they've never been, honestly.
No.
The Chiefs are. The Chiefs were. And the Bengals did it twice to them. But I always wanted the Bengals to beat them because I didn't want that stigma to exist. Now, Monday Night Football is upon us, right? Monday Night Football is upon us. And in everyone else's, eyes in the NFL, the Bengals, this is a statement game for them. How many games are we going to say for the Bengals are statement games before we say the Bengals are the truth?
Yeah.
You talk about it being a statement game for the Bengals. How about it being a statement game for the Bills? Mm-hmm. Outside of the Chiefs, who have the Bills beaten this season? I'll wait. It's a lot of disrespect that goes Cincinnati's way. Why? Because it's Cincinnati. And that's why I came to Cincinnati. I preach it each and every single time on this show. To be new media. To change the same old story. Right? This is what it's about. Any other team will get a pass. And you know what? I'm telling y'all right now, Bengals fans. I'm telling you right now. If the Cincinnati Bengals... I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. When the Cincinnati Bengals beat the Buffalo Bills, I promise you national media will bring up Josh Allen's injury. I promise you the excuses will be long for the Buffalo Bills. But if the Bengals were to lose, it would be, we told you, the Bills are the team to beat. The Bills are the juggernaut. Listen, I haven't heard anybody mention Josh Allen's injury. Listen, his injury is a very real thing, but they're still winning games with that injury. All I'm going to say is the same damn thing I say each and every single week. And what's that, Logan? Keep that same energy. That's all I want. I want the Bengals to be on the same playing field, right? To get the same level of respect as the Chiefs, right? As the Patriots used to get, right? As the Buffalo Bills get right now. That's what I want for the national media to do for the Cincinnati Bengals. Listen, me being here in Cincinnati, people going to say you're a homer. You're this, that, and the third. And I understand that. I'm willing to wear those stripes. People can say that. One thing about me is I'm not a homer. One thing about me is I'm very real. One thing about me is I keep it real.
Absolutely.
I do.
Always have.
When I need to be hard on the Bengals, I'm hard on the Bengals. When I need to be nice on the Bengals, I'm nice on the Bengals. You got your same old pessimistic ass Bengals fans out there that say, you know what, the Bengals are going to find a way to mess it up. I'm here to tell you right now, I say it each and every single week. This is not your same old grandfather's Bengals. This isn't. This team has more swag to it. This team has more charisma to it. This team has leadership up and down this football team on the offensive side of the ball, the defensive side of the ball, the special team side of the ball. That's what this Bengals football team has right now. So I'm here to tell you right now, the national media, I love what my man Brock is saying. The national media hates the Bengals. Guess what? One thing about me, I love the Bengals. I love Cincinnati. I love the people of Cincinnati. And I'm always going to keep it real, whether you guys like me, love me, or hate me. The fact of the matter is, the respect that the Bengals don't get needs to be called out by somebody. It needs to be called out, right? I know a lot of these guys in the media and so on and so forth. And all I'm going to ask of you, some of you are my friends, some of you dislike me. I'm just going to ask you, do me a favor. Keep that same energy towards the Bengals, no matter the outcome. I don't want to hear about Josh Allen's injury. If the Bengals win. I don't want to hear about the fact that they can't get the running game going when the Bengals win. I don't want to hear about the loss of Von Miller when the Bengals win. Keep that same energy, because I'm telling you right now, the Bengals, I said it on my show week 1 on the sit down on Mondays, the Bengals are and continue to be the team to beat in the AFC. The Bills have not impressed me this season. They struggled to beat the Chicago Bears, okay? They struggled to beat the Chicago Bears. They struggled to beat the Detroit Lions. They lost to the Jets. They lost to listen, keep that same energy. And I love what my man JC Kirk is saying in the comment section. Don't be surprised when the Chiefs slip up and let the Bengals take the number 1 seed. Brother, I'm right there with you. I think that's a huge possibility. I think it's a huge possibility. People are just writing off the Broncos. People are just writing off the Raiders. And I understand within reason those teams have been what they've been this season. I get it.
The interim coach magic.
The interim coach magic is a very real thing. I'm just going to tell you right now, the respect. Listen, life is about respect. As a man, I like when people show me respect. And I'm sure people appreciate when I show them respect. The same goes for the Bengals. The Bengals have done nothing for people to disrespect them. They started off 0-2. The NFL wanted, and the media wanted people to say last year's run was a fluke, but it wasn't. The Bengals are still here at the end of it. They are in the thick of it with the Bills, the Chiefs, right? Yeah. The Bengals are up there with the upper echelon of the other teams, and it's time that people start respecting it. So it's for that exact reason. I have to ask you guys a question. I have to ask the people in the media a question. What do the Bills do that the Bengals don't? What do the Bills have over the Cincinnati Bengals? Real talk.
Nothing, really. I mean, if you're really going to break it down.
So how are we going to say a team that can't get out of their own way year after year after year is a Super Bowl favorite? Again, me being new media, I have to question old media. And I have to ask you guys to answer these stigma, these things you guys are throwing out. Tell me how a team that was just in the Super Bowl with the battered, beaten, bruised offensive line, the worst offensive line to probably ever start in a Super Bowl, Tell me how that team that just lost the Super Bowl by 3 points against a super team in the Rams aren't the favorites to go back in the AFC. Somebody explain that to me. Somebody in the comment section right now, Bengals fan or not, tell me how a team that can't get out of their own way is the team to beat in the AFC. Haven't we been crowning the Bills every single year for the last 4 years? What has changed? Everybody knows about Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. Everybody knows. I'm just trying to understand, how is a team that couldn't get past the team that the Bengals beat 3 times in 1 year the team to beat in the AFC? Have the Bills been to an AFC championship with Josh Allen? Have they? I'm not asking that question. I'm just being real. Regardless if they've been to an AFC championship or not, how can you crown them Super Bowl favorites when the team out of the AFC, the Cincinnati Bengals, are sitting at 11-4 and finding different ways to win? Listen, the Bengals were playing with house money when they went to the Super Bowl last year, throwing deep ball passes to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, playing backyard football. Now they're actually playing with a consistent offense. But yet and still, we fix our face to say the Buffalo Bills are the Super Bowl. You listen to your Stephen A. Smiths. You listen to your Skip Bayless. Skip. You listen to all of these guys sit up there on every single one of these morning talk shows and say, Skip, I'm telling you right now, the Buffalo Bills are the team to beat. How? Somebody answer that for me. Again, as new media, we have to call out old media. We're going to make sure they right their wrong. We're going to make sure they start seeing teams in a positive light, whether it's the Bengals or somebody else. But that's why we do this show, because guess what? The Bengals right now are the team to be in the AFC. It don't matter what Skip say, what Shannon say, what Stephen A. Smith say, what Carton and whatever his name say. I'm just being honest. It don't matter what they say, because right now, men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And right now, the numbers say the Bengals are 11-4. And if the Bengals beat the Bills and then the Bengals beat the Ravens and the Chiefs lose one more time, the Bengals are the number 1 seed. Then what they going to say? Logan?
Yeah, I mean, it's always kind of hard to follow up Malik's rants like that. But something I'm kind of looking forward to in this game. Yes, both teams truly want to win this football game. But there's a really high likelihood that they face again in just a few weeks. So it's going to be kind of really interesting to see how those coaches, the coordinators, and even the players handle that. Like I said, they obviously both of them want to win this game because they can both be the number 1 seed. But it's kind of hard. It's a different style of coaching when there's a chance you have to play this team to go to the Super Bowl, to go to the AFC Championship. I think that's just a little wrinkle that not a lot of people have talked about. It's still going to be a hell of a game one way or the other. People still want to win this game, but you might not see, the going over the top to win it like some of these people expect. It's going to be a hell of a game one way or the other. They're just going to literally line up there and play football, and it's going to be awesome. Every second of it is going to be awesome. But again, they could very well play each other in a few weeks, and both of these coaching staffs are smart enough to know that. And I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out through this game.
Malik, they want you to do the Shannon impression one more time.
Skip. Skip.
They're loving it.
Skip. I'm telling you right now, the Cincinnati Bengals aren't. No, I'm joking. But in all seriousness, though, we got to talk about it, though, right? Just because you jump on a talk show and you pound the table and you say this and you say that, you still got to know football. You call yourselves analysts, but yet and still, we talk about the Bills being the team to beat. And I'm just trying to understand, where have they shown us that? Again, I challenge any media member. I will jump on your show. You could come on my show and we could have a discussion, right? We could have a discussion. We could talk about this. I challenge any member in the media. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how small you are. I challenge any member in the national media to step on his show, or I'll step on your show, and we could line it up, and you could tell me why the Bills or the Chiefs are better than the Bengals outside of your personal bias. Because guess what? If there was a team right now, listen, if you want my honest opinion, if the Cleveland Browns was in the playoffs right now, I would say they would give the Bengals a hard time.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lie to you guys.
Well, you always
I keep
say.
it real. But what I'm saying is, any member in the media, and clip this, Daniel, any member in the media, don't care who you are, consider this a call out, a fade. Any member in the media, you could step on my show or I could step on your show, and you could tell me what any of those other teams have over the Cincinnati Bengals. Consider that a call out. That could be local media or the Buffalo Bills or the Chiefs or any of them teams, national media, right? The rest of them dudes like Keyshawn and all of them guys, anybody. What did Connor say? Any one of them mouthy fools could get it. Anybody can. I just want to hear what your opinions are or why you say the things that you say. Because one thing about Lee is anything I say, I back up. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't. And numbers say I never lost a debate. Let's keep it going, though. Time to talk about what to make of the Bengals close games. A lot of people in Bengals community have been, worried a little bit. It hasn't been sitting well with them that, they've been sorry, I lost my train of thought. A lot of people in the Bengals community have been pretty much saying, oh, the Bengals been losing, have been playing close games. Yeah. Oh, this isn't a good look, blah, 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 the whole 9 yards, right? But the simple fact is, I view it as a positive. Listen, I say, the Cincinnati Bengals find unique ways to win football games, right? Offense, defense, or special teams. They never just rely on one thing. It don't care. It doesn't matter if Joe Burrow passes for 150 yards or 400 yards. They're finding, they're finding different ways to win. Yeah. Logan, what are your thoughts?
I'm not too overly concerned about, the last few games. I think obviously people look at that Patriots game where, the Patriots are right on the brink of kind of beating us. But I mean, if you really go back and really want to talk about it, Bengals just continued to beat themselves all game. I mean, Evan McPherson left 5 points on the board. That's not normal. Jamar Chase had a fumble when we were easily going down, and we've been doing whatever we wanted all game long. It's just they beat themselves, and yeah, that's not good all the time, but you beat yourselves. Nobody played that great. You won a football game against a I don't want to say very good New England Patriots team, but a good, solid, tough Patriots team. Again, I know it's not these flashy wins that everybody wants, but I mean, there was nothing the Bengals couldn't do against them. I know 22 points doesn't necessarily reflect that, but 22 points in one half. And then the second half, again, several missed kicks, a couple, the Jamar Chase fumble, just a lot of little things that didn't bounce their way in the second half, but they still pretty much got whatever they wanted throughout the course of the game. I know it's not the score you want to see. I know the Patriots arguably should have won that game at the end. But again, they didn't. The Bengals did. They found a way to hang on. At the end of the day, that's all that really matters. They were clearly the better football team on Sunday, and they won, and that's all that should really matter.
Facts. So, the way, like I said, I view the wins that the Bengals are getting, no matter if they're close. Listen, the margin, of wins and losses in the NFL is real tight. It's not really, it's very, very challenging to go out there and say you think you're going to blow out a team. To me, I think the close victories, right? Because most NFL games are decided between 3 to 7 points, 3 to 7 points, right? The margin for error in NFL is so small, man. And the fact that the way you find ways to win games is so imperative. Yeah. It's so imperative. So the way I see it, man, is the Cincinnati Bengals, these type of victories build character. Right? They build character. The fact that they went into New England, and yes, it should have been a blowout, right? Yeah. But credit to Bill Belichick, credit to that coaching staff, man. They got them up to par, right? And the simple fact is the Cincinnati Bengals found a way to win. And you look at those Patriot teams of old, they used to just find a way to win, whether it be Kimbrell Tompkins. And I feel like I mention him all the time on the show, right? You do. Kimbrell Tompkins, LeGarrette Blount, the whole 9 yards. The Bengals just find ways to win, right? They just rely on their guys. Sometimes it's going to be a Jamar day. Sometimes it's going to be a T day. Maybe a Tyler Boyd day. Maybe a Hayden Hurst day. It might be a Trenton Irwin day. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the simple fact is the only thing that matters is a victory, man. Victories is the only thing that matters. Before we jump into our our next topic. If you're looking to start your career today as a broker, make sure you apply to First Star Logistics. There is no better place, better atmosphere, better people than First Star Logistics. Like I said, I've had a blast since I moved here in September. They welcome me with open arms, so to speak. And since then, I've gotten to experience a lot of awesome top things, watching games with Ickey Woods in the First Star Suite. And every single Sunday or Thursday night football, it's an absolute movie in the First Star Suite. It's a movie here in the First Star Logistics studio as well. So we have a lot of fun here each and every single week. But like I said, if you're looking to start your career today as a broker, no better place than First Star Logistics. Make sure you apply. Time to address the loss of Lyle Collins, man. A lot of people are freaking out. A lot of people are saying, what in the world is going on? Lyle Collins is out for the season with an ACL, MCL tear. And some people are panicking about Hakeem Adeniji. Logan, say something to, make people feel calm the waters.
I think at the end of the day, you're going to miss Lyle Collins the most in the run game. In case you guys haven't noticed, we don't run the ball overly much. So it's not the biggest deal in the world. I mean, we all know Lyle hasn't been the best as a pass blocker this year. That's just obvious to say. And I think when we love to throw the football, you're not really losing all that much. People think of Hakeem Adeniji for his Super Bowl performance and his playoff runs. But he's a lot better at tackle than he is inside. He's much more suited to play outside. That doesn't mean this guy's going to come out here and be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, he is more than serviceable. We talked about it last week. He's going to be able to do his job. Obviously he's probably going to play a few more games than anybody would technically like. But at the end of the day, he's more than serviceable. He can get you through some games. He's going to play solid football. He's never really going to give you a dominant game. He's not bad enough to where he's going to lose you the game. It's offensive line is how everybody plays as a group. Is the other four people playing good, then we're all right. If he's the only one struggling, you can work around that. I don't think he's going to be as big as an issue as people think. He's going to get tested very early on Monday Night Football. They're going to come at him. They're going to be running a lot of stunts and all this stuff. It's going to take some time to adjust, obviously. But at the end of the day, it sucks losing Lyle. He was a big money free agent, all that hype, the storyline there, seeing him in the mall, everything about that was awesome and fun. But truth be told, he hasn't been great this year. It sucks, but that's just the truth of the matter. So, it's a downgrade in some areas, but I don't think it's as massive of a downgrade as everybody thinks it is.
I think this is the one time me and you really kind of disagree a little bit. I think even great, right? There aren't a lot of great offensive linemen in the National Football League. And the way I see it is even a less than great Lyle Collins might be miles better than what we currently have.
Yeah, I don't
disagree. We aren't going to get the same old Pro Bowl caliber type, but we were never going to get the same old Pro Bowl caliber type of offensive lineman that he used to be in Dallas. But I think that it is a loss. And I saw some people on Twitter trying to make it seem like, it's not a loss. It's a loss. It's a huge loss. Lyle Collins was moving people in the run game. And even though he was on the ground a lot more than what I wanted him to be, he was still holding people off of Joe Burrow enough for Joe Burrow to make plays and stuff like that. So it is a loss. Lyle Collins was a big for this offensive line. He brought stability to the right tackle position, something that the Bengals haven't had for years. But my hope is Hakeem Adeniji would be better than what Isaiah Prince was last year, and that's all we could ask for. Yeah. And if as long as he is that, this is his first time getting an opportunity to be a starting tackle. He was never a guard. Whoever decided to put him at guard was tripping. I understand what some people were saying, Lyle Collins. Hakeem Adeniji could play guard. He was never a guard. Same thing with Fred Johnson. Fred Johnson was never a guard. And it's for things like this, just so y'all know, I was a big Fred Johnson guy. Yeah. I hated the way he was utilized here in Cincinnati. I hated the way he was utilized here in Cincinnati. And I genuinely believe, remember, the Steelers had high hopes for Fred Johnson to be one of their starting right tackles. And the Bengals swooped up and grabbed him. I genuinely believe we could have utilized a guy like Fred Johnson for a moment like this, because I think Fred Johnson would have been, Fred Johnson, if you ask my personal opinion, I think he would have been better than Adeniji. And he would have been better than, Isaiah Prince or whatever the case would be at the right tackle position. That's just me.
I think there's a couple of I don't necessarily disagree. It's definitely a loss. I think just after seeing the line we rolled out there last year, it just feels again, it's a loss, but it's just it's still better than what we had last year at the end of the day. So I'm just going to kind of chalk it up to that. But I don't think, people really haven't talked about it too much, but Hakeem Adeniji isn't just going to be handed the starting right tackle job for the rest of the year. Isaiah Prince, like it or not, he did play in the Super Bowl. He has the experience. Dante Smith was a pretty high draft pick, a 4th-round pick with a pretty decent college profile. Like, it's Hakeem Adeniji job right now. That doesn't mean he's just going to be gifted it no matter how he plays. They're going to find the answer there for this year. And if it's rotating guys in and out, whatever, they're going to figure it out. They have bodies to run in. They have time to figure it out, thankfully. But it's just not Hakeem Adeniji's job for sure yet either. He's obviously going to get the first crack at it. But they got some other capable bodies that could, get a crack at it as well.
Absolutely. Well, this is the part of the show that I love. This is where we simply sit back and we answer your questions. So all 63 of you guys, we appreciate you guys for rocking with us each and every single Wednesday live on State of the Jungle. The Bengals show, the only live in studio Bengals talk show for the people. This is what we do. This is the part where we ask you to answer, we answer your questions. So feel free to drop your questions down in the comment section and let's get to it.
All right, so we've got some people asking about Andrew Whitworth. Andrew Whitworth, is it going to happen, Malik, Logan, or are people getting their hopes up?
People are getting their hopes up, man. Listen, I think offensive tackle is one of those. Offensive line, defensive line is one of those positions you can't just roll out of bed and just say, hey, I'm going to play. Yeah. There's weight training involved. There's so much that goes into guys being able to play those positions effectively and at a high level. Because if you ask me, anybody could go out there and you can grab anybody from offensive line, but you want to make sure that they're going to be effective in what they're doing. And it's just not reasonable to think Andrew Whitworth, who's openly said he's gained more fat and lost more muscle. It's just not reasonable. It's not fair to him. Even though it's a cool story, and we would love for him to step back and wear stripes and get a Super Bowl with the team he should have stayed with his entire career. Yeah. But it's just not reasonable. So
yeah, it's just not gonna happen. It's awesome, fun to talk about, but.
Yeah.
We've got a great question here from our guy, Sean, and I already know pretty much both of you guys' answers, but who's the one team that would give the Bengals the most problems in a potential first-round matchup? Or is there any team that you guys are scared
The Chargers.
Of? Yeah.
The Chargers.
I agree.
Yeah, the Chargers. I mean, because one thing about Justin Herbert, for everything that we say, Justin Herbert could throw that rock. Yeah. And Justin Herbert is going to test out Eli Apple. Justin Herbert is going to test out Cam Taylor-Britt.
They throw the ball a lot.
And the thing about them is you got to be perfect when he's throwing to those guys out there, man, because he's going to give his guys chances. I believe our guys, will win that matchup. But you talk about who give us a tough matchup, the Chargers for sure.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. We talk about the Chargers all off season. They kind of sucked at first, but they're coming around. They're getting healthier. Mm-hmm. We all know Justin Herbert's fantastic. You got to lean with the Chargers.
We got a question from our guy, Drew, right here. He's asking, do you think there's a better chance for the Chiefs to lose to the Broncos Sunday or the Raiders in Week 18?
I think the Broncos.
It has to be the Broncos.
I think the Broncos.
They're not losing to Jared Stidham.
Never say never. You never know. But
they're more than likely not losing to Jared
I'll definitely say the Broncos, though, because it's something weird. I think people are just writing the Broncos off, and these are the type of games that,
interim head coach.
Yeah.
There's always something weird about him.
Question here from our guy Daniel Gable. Trenton Irwin touchdown this week, and overall, just you guys' thoughts on Trenton Irwin so far.
Love Trenton Irwin. Trenton Julian Edelman Irwin, man. Yeah. I was with that guy a couple weeks ago. Got to see him talk with Dave. We talked with him afterwards, man. Good dude, humble guy. You know what I mean? I'm happy for his success. He deserves everything, man. This guy grinded, man, to get this opportunity. So, big Trent Irwin guy, and I think Trent Irwin. I think you always gotta look out for him to get a touchdown. Hopefully the Bills started watching film on him, and if they haven't, they probably should. Yeah,
he's just one of those guys that's just such a great story to follow. Like, everybody roots for Trent Irwin. He's obviously a fan favorite now. I mean, it helps when he's producing. He doesn't get the most time on the field, but it seems like every time he's on the field, the ball finds a way into his hands, and he hasn't disappointed us yet. So I don't expect that to change anytime soon.
So we're going back to Lyle Collins. Is this the end of the road for Lyle Collins, or do you guys think that he bounces back in the NFL?
I think this is all about what he wants to do, man. He's dealt with back injuries, now ACL, MCL. Listen, what's that old saying, man? They said it's easy to get up in the morning, man, when you got money in the bank.
Yeah.
Right? It's a little harder when you got 100 million or whatever. In football terms and offensive lineman terms, it's a little harder when you got millions of dollars in the bank, you got bad back, and now you're dealing with an ACL, MCL injury. So it's really, really tough to see. It's all about what Lyle Collins' motivation is. If Lyle Collins wants to come back and show people what he's all about, then he will. Awesome. If not, then I think that's only a question Lyle Collins can answer.
I agree. I mean, we kind of hope he's back, obviously. I mean, but at the end of the day, it's up to him. Like you said, you can't really blame anybody for putting their health first. So
Regardless,
yeah.
Bengals need to draft a tackle this year
Yeah.
at some point, or free agency need to do something because you need to make sure that you have a plan in place. You do not want a Cedric Ogbuehi, Jake Fisher situation.
Yep.
Our guy Grant is asking about Ludini.
Mhm.
Do you guys think Ludini is prepared to deal with Josh Allen's chaotic play this week?
Of course he is. We gotta ask ourselves: Is Josh Allen prepared for what Lou's gonna throw at him?
Yeah.
Because the Bengals are going to pressure Josh Allen. And I've noticed ever since he's dealing with that UCL injury in his elbow, when that pressure comes at him, he ain't the same Josh Allen. He's not the same Josh Allen. It's like you got to put more force behind some of those throws that he's making and things of that nature. So I think that the Bengals will be well prepared. I expect a lot more blitzes to be thrown Josh Allen's way. I expect the spy as well.
Oh, yeah.
The Bengals aren't going to let Josh Allen run wild. Expect a huge Mike Hilton blitz week.
Yep. I think that, I mean, I kind of hinted at it a little bit earlier. Lou's going to have some stuff for Josh Allen. He's only going to show a fraction of what he's capable of doing to Josh Allen because of the potential matchup we had. Lou's going to do plenty enough to win this football game. I can still promise you there's so much more Lou can do to win this game.
Our guy Amari is asking about Trey Hendrickson. Is Trey Hendrickson a top 5 edge rusher in the NFL right now?
Man, oh man, if he's not top 5, he's definitely fringe. I mean,
yeah,
the guy's that plays like a bat out of hell. But obviously the results, he doesn't get that this year, but he's getting it's a lot of stuff that offenses are doing to him to try to, make life harder on him.
Yeah,
He comes so close to getting to the quarterback too. But yeah, man, I love Trey's energy. I would say Trey's fringe top 5 for sure.
Edge position is just loaded, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, even if he's not, it doesn't like discredit anything, his talent. The edge position is just stupid good right now in the NFL. It's such an important position. Even if he's not top 5, I mean, he's a hell of a player, and that doesn't change anything.
We've got a lot of questions. Make sure you guys keep commenting them down below. Question here from Jesse Tyler. Interesting one. He's saying, have you guys noticed frustration from Jamar? He didn't celebrate after scoring in Tampa, and his body language seems to show frustration too last week. What are you guys' thoughts?
I mean, I just think Jamar is a competitor. I wouldn't read too much into his body language and things of that nature. I just think it's a grind out there for some of those guys. And I was actually at the game at Tampa. I don't think that was a frustrated thing. I mean, any time you score, you're excited. I think it was more so he scored type of thing. And he was like, damn, like that was tough. That was rough. Let me catch my breath because he was really working extremely hard out there. It was a tough matchup for him. It was a tough matchup for him in Tampa. So now I don't see when I see Jamar, I don't see frustration. I see these defenses are making him have to overwork for a lot of this stuff. So
and I think that, like, even just going back to last week a little bit, you could tell he was pretty frustrated, but he still had a pretty good game. But you tell the fumble really beat him up, which is fine. Like, I'd be mad too. Like, you would want him to be mad. You'd want him to be going out there and making up for it. The deep balls haven't been there the last few weeks. He's probably frustrated with that. But at the end of the day, he's still producing at a borderline elite level. So, like, if one of these things starts to go his way for once instead of bouncing away from him, then he's just going to explode and he'll be dancing then.
So we've got a question here from our guy, Eric, and I've got some stats, but he's saying, do you see a big game from Jamar Chase? Let me just read off the stats of wide receiver ones against the Bills. Cooper Kupp, 128 yards. Jalen Waddle, 100 yards. Juju Smith, 113 yards. Justin Jefferson, 193. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 122. Amari Cooper, 113. Garrett Wilson, 92. The list goes on, but do you guys think Jamar Chase has a big week?
I mean, I think there's a reason for some of those numbers that you read off. Is because of the coverage the Buffalo Bills play. They play very soft, right? And the Buffalo Bills don't blitz either. So when I look at it, Leslie Frazier is kind of one of those defense coordinators that's kind of stuck in his ways. And especially with the loss of Von Miller, just makes them play almost an umbrella type of defense on a consistent basis. So if you ask me, I think this could be a big breakout for Jamar Chase because Trey White and Kyrie Elam are sticking him. And I was talking to my guy Mookie Hawkins from Buffalo Bills and Wolfo Sports earlier today. And he was like, well, Kyrie Elam might press Jamar man-to-man at the line. I'm like, good luck with that. You should ask Denzel Ward how that played out for him.
Yeah, I think, I mean, somebody, like, the way the offense is running at this point in time, anybody could have a big game. They all might have 80 yards. They all might have 90 yards, 100 yards, whatever it is. It's a team effort in the wide receiver room. I think we all want to see that Jamar Chase game. You gotta throw the ball to beat the Bills. Their run defense is very good. I think that's why you kind of see some of those inflated stats. We'll see if it comes in all to one person or if it's spread out a little bit. But regardless, there's going to be a lot of passing yards to go around Monday night.
People are loading up with the questions here. Our guy Christopher, with the Bills being a very turnover prone team, which guy in the secondary do you guys see as stepping up this week?
I mean, Malik kind of touched on it a little bit earlier. They're going to continue to pick on Eli Apple and Cam Taylor-Britt. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to result in turnovers. Usually the safeties have kind of been playing really good football of late. Obviously, in these kind of scenarios, the safeties might have the better shots at interceptions. But regardless, you need a big week from Cam Taylor-Britt and Eli Apple.
It's going to be a Jesse Bates game. That's it. It's going to be a Jesse Bates game. I got nothing else to add.
I love that. The Platypus is asking the question about Sam Hubbard. He says, what are the chances Sam gets to play on Monday? Was Zach Taylor bringing it up? It makes me slightly more optimistic.
I mean, I can't tell you how much more he's likely going to play. The D-line played well last week, without Sam Hubbard. Obviously, you want him to play. We want him to be out there. We also want him healthy and ready, available for the playoffs. Cam Samuel did a hell of a job last week. Joseph Asai did a hell of a job last week. DJ Reader's still that guy.
The grave digger.
I'm not too worried about if Sam Hubbard plays one way or the other. And that's no disrespect to Sam. It's just we have bigger things ahead of us.
I want Sam out there because I think Sam is a hustler.
He wants
and I think he could make life hard on Josh Allen. And yeah.
Sticking with Monday Night Football, Michael is asking, what's the deciding factor in the Monday Night Showdown?
Don't play the Buffalo Bills game. As long as the Bengals are able to dictate the pace of the game, they'll win. A lot like they did with the Chiefs. Keep Josh Allen on the sidelines and make them pay each and every single time that you have the ball in your hands.
Yeah, I think you just kind of hinted at it too, just a turnover battle. I mean, it's a little bit of a boring answer, but when you have two really good football teams going at it, it's usually a pretty big deciding factor.
Yep.
Our guy JC is asking about the future of the defense coordinator position with the Bengals. If Lou takes a head coaching job, who do you guys think takes his spot?
I mean, I would love to see Marion Hobby step up in that role. I don't know if he has interest in being a defensive coordinator. I know he retired at one point again for health reasons, back in the day. But I think it'll be very interesting. I do think that Cincinnati's defensive coordinator job will be a job that will be a lot of people will be highly sought after. I could see a guy like Vic Fangio wanting to coach his defense. I know he's like a defensive analyst with the Philadelphia Eagles or something like that. Should not be in that role. Should 100% be a defense coordinator in the National Football League. He is one of the best, and if not the best. So it'll be very interesting, but it'll be a highly sought after position.
I'm with you.
Matt Brewer is talking about the QB spy role, and we talked about this on our film breakdown on the YouTube channel. Without Sam Hubbard, who do you guys think that they would drop into the linebacker spot? Is it Osai? Is it somebody else?
I don't even know if they would use defense. I think Sam does so many things well. He's such an intelligent. So no knock against any other defenseman we have, but he's such an intelligent player. I could 100% see the Bengals actually using a linebacker or an added safety, like a Dax Hill in that spiral.
I was just gonna kind of even hit Hakeem Davis-Gaither as well. I mean, he's not the most utilized guy in the world, but he can be a guy you can just put on the edge, kind of just play that Sam Hubbard role as well. Just kind of try to beat you with that speed, and he drop him back. You blitz him off the edge sometimes. Expect a few little wrinkles like that. Dax, the Mike Hilton blitzes a lot too, so it'll be interesting to see how they kind of make up for Sam's loss. Interesting one here from Grant. He's asking about Marvin Lewis. Do you guys think that Marvin Lewis gets a job interview with the Broncos head coaching position?
No, I think for some reason the league is just out on Marvin Lewis.
Yeah,
his name gets brought up, but nobody really has any real interest in him enough to act for it to be serious. Yeah. Marvin deserves another chance in the league, but I don't know if he'll ever get it.
I don't think so.
Pedro's asking the question, Malik, if the Chiefs beat the Broncos, the Ravens lose to the Steelers, and the Bengals beat the Bills, is it still worth it to play the Ravens?
Yes. I think from a confidence standpoint, you need to win this one, and you're still playing for a lot out there too. You need to.
Because if you lose, you still want to play regardless.
That's why
I was thinking if there's a scenario where you can drop out of the 2 seed, but you'd have the tiebreaker and everything. So,
question here. This is from Eric. I can see a scenario where we are all waiting in line Monday morning for AFC Championship gear. Do you agree with this?
Is that possible?
AFC North Championship gear.
I mean, right? If the Ravens lose and we win, I think that's.
But it wouldn't be Monday morning.
Tuesday
morning. It would be Tuesday.
Monday Night Football.
I was about to say I don't think that's realistic.
A little pre-sale.
question here about Evan McPherson. What's going on with McPherson? Do you think he's in his own head? Is he injured? What do you guys think?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Kicker is not something I've ever played before. I don't,
I think that, they even reported it a little bit before the Patriots game. He struggled in warmups. Gillette's not an
He
easy place to kick. Obviously, he's had more struggles outside of that. A little bit. I don't know how truly much this has affected him. Obviously, Clark Harris isn't here. I know you got a new holder now too. Could be in Evan's head a little bit. Kicking is extremely tough to do. It's extremely mental as well.
Yes.
Like it's a very, 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 very hard job to do. And if anything's throwing you off, you're gonna struggle.
Yep.
I'm confident in Evan's abilities still, regardless. He's just got to figure it out. And I don't think anybody should be down him yet. We just gotta see a couple go through. He'll be all right.
All right.
Matt Brewer is asking, not a Bengals related, but what is up with Lamar Jackson? Is the injury more serious than reported, or is he not taking another snap for him? What's going on with Lamar?
So I heard me personally, I heard it was a couple of things that could be contributing to it. I think it's the fact that he doesn't have a contract and he wants to be extra cautious with his body, although he doesn't take care of his body. I heard that as well. I think it's just one of those things where Lamar is being cautious. He's not willing to take any chances. He's this close on the fringe to getting a huge bag from some team, and it'd be a shame if he went out there and actually hurt himself much more seriously, and then now he doesn't get that money. So
that's why athletes don't like the franchise tag.
right.
Obviously everybody wants them to play, but you got to weigh your options at a point in time. It's just like, is it really worth for Lamar to go out there? Like, unless Lamar wins a Super Bowl, is he really costing himself any money by not playing? So it's just like, you gotta be a little smart with yourself, and he's clearly being extremely cautious, as he deserves to be, as he's allowed to be. But it's a weird situation over there in Baltimore.
Going back to what we talked about with the Chargers earlier, a guy Jake is asking, why do the Chargers scare the hell out of me if we face them in the playoffs? Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, healthy Joey Bosa seems like a bad matchup.
Yeah, I think that Josh Allen is, not Josh Allen, Justin Herbert is a guy that's not afraid to throw the ball down the field. He's going to test our secondary, and our secondary is beat up. So like it all makes sense. You got a rookie starting out there. You got a guy who was, who a lot of people considered a bust to be playing corner for us, who has really looked like a number one, number two, strong number two corner this year. So, the fact of the matter is I understand it, but that's why the Chargers probably freak a lot of people out. But I think the same thing. I think that I view the Chargers a very similar light that I view the Bills. Like, you dictate the pace, you allow, you allow them to play their offense, you slow the game down, you can have success.
It's a good football team, right? And it's just sometimes just as simple as that.
We've got a couple more lined up here. Does Week 18 get scheduled for Sunday Night Football?
No idea. It'll be very interesting to see if it does, though.
I think they might.
They might, yeah.
Opt.
Makes a lot of sense.
I think they could opt to the Jags Titans as well. I know it's not as fun for everybody, but it kind of fits a storyline the NFL likes. Winner take all, rookie quarterback. Just, I don't know. NFL's weird with some of that stuff sometimes, so you never really know.
All right. Well, look, guys, that's all the time that we have here for State of the Jungle. I appreciate everybody for rocking with us. You guys can catch us each and every single Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We love answering your questions, talking all things Bengals football with you. We got a jam-packed show planned this upcoming Monday as we gear up for the Bengals taking on the Bills. Bills at Bengals. Huge game. I'm telling you guys right now, the Bengals are going to beat the Bills, and we will continue to be the talk of the town. Why? Because the Bengals are the team to beat in the AFC, and I can't wait for people to get them T-shirts printed on Tuesday morning, because guess what? It's up. It's up. It's free smoke for everybody. Thank you guys again so much. Make sure you guys give First Star Logistics a follow, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and give this video a like. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time live on State of the Jungle. We are signing off from the First Star Logistics studio. Good night, everybody.
Up all day and